All right, here I am looking at the final ray trace version of the camera. In this exercise, we're going to go and rough in the three objects that make up the lens element. I've saved my progress as cameraback.psd, and I'm going to go ahead and select the ring layer as well as turn it on. This is another object that we need to extrude inside Repoussé. Notice that it's a circle with a smaller circle cut out of it. I'll go up to the 3D menu, choose Repoussé, and choose Layer Mask. And then inside the Repoussé dialog box, step one is to change type from inactive to whole, so that we're cutting the smaller circle out of the larger one. Now, if you can get away with not rotating the object in 3D space, that's the best way to work. As I say, if you decide to rotate, then make sure you click on the home icon. But things work even better. You're not going to have to click on that home icon twice. For example, up in the options bar, if you don't rotate the object in 3D space in the first place. All right, I'm going to change the depth value to 0.02, like so that we have barely any extrusion going on. I'm going to do the vast majority of my work with the bevel options. I'll change the height value to 10 and the width value to a whopping 18 so that we have these big, huge beveled edges. All right, now I'll go up to the materials area. I'll click that down pointing arrowhead next to the all icon, and I'll select titanium brushed, like so, and then that's it. Go ahead and click OK in order to create that new object. All right, with the ring layer selected, go ahead and shift-click on camera so both of the 3D layers are selected. Remember that the bottom layer takes precedent. Go up to the 3D menu and choose Merge 3D Layers, and you'll end up with a single camera layer like so. And of course, your ring will be in totally the wrong place. So let's go ahead and grab that camera rotate tool, drag to the right so we can see what's going on. There's the ring in the background. Go ahead and bring up the 3D panel. Filter by meshes by clicking on this second icon there. Click on the ring mesh in order to make it active. Then, very important, you've got to select one of the mesh tools. So click on that third tool down on the left side of the 3D panel. And then go ahead and click on the home icon up there in the options bar, and that will move the ring into place. Now, it's not exactly where it needs to be. You need to make some sort of modification. So drag on the green arrowhead associated with this 3D widget here, and I'm going to drag over to the left to make that ring emerge. And ultimately, I'm going to change this Y value up here in the options bar to -40, like so. Then press the Enter key or the Return key on the Mac to make your change. All right, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab my camera rotate tool there again, and I'm going to drag up so that we're looking down at the camera, like about so. I figure it'll work well. All right, that's going to help us position the telephoto elements. So the first one's called Tele-Out right there. So go ahead and click on Tele-Out. This is the outer ring of the telephoto lens. So select it, turn it on as well, and then go up to the 3D menu, choose Repoussé, and choose Layer Mask. Then, inside the Repoussé dialog box, we need to go ahead and change type from inactive to whole once again so that we cut that inner ring out of there. And let's change the depth value to 0.5 this time, which is relatively high. So a depth of 50% of the overall size of the object. And I'm going to change both bevel values, both height and width, to 2. Now, I figure I might want to apply these settings more than once. So why not create a Repoussé shape preset? Click the right pointing arrowhead and choose New Repoussé Preset, and I'm going to call this guy Tunnel because it's a kind of tunnel as you can see. Then click OK, and we will have a new preset down here at the bottom of the list. All right, awesome. I haven't rotated the object in 3D space, so I don't need to click on Home. I'll go ahead and just click on OK instead in order to apply that modification. With Tele-Out selected, go ahead and shift-click on Camera, so you have to do this over and over again when merging these objects together. Camera's got to be at the bottom of the stack. Then go up to the 3D menu and choose Merge 3D Layers. Of course, as Photoshop so wants to do, it goes ahead and does its absolute best to hide that new object inside of the scene. It's as if no matter how you rotate the camera, Photoshop wants to make sure you have no chance of seeing that object. However, it didn't do a good enough job. We can see it there in the background. I'll go ahead and click on the little mesh icon up here at the top of the 3D panel. Click on Tele-Out, switch to the mesh tool in order to edit that mesh independently of the others. Then go up to the little house icon in the options bar and click on it, and that goes ahead and sets that object at the right angle. Now, it's even harder to see than it was before, but it's right where it wants to be. Now, with the 3D widget up on screen, go ahead and drag that green arrowhead in order to move the telephoto lens in and out of the camera body. All right, so isn't that great? We have this great view of exactly what's going on there. I'll go ahead and move it to, let's say, about there. The value I'm really looking for is a Y value of negative 250. All the while, by the way, X and Z need to remain 0. And by the way, when working with the Y value, negative values, I know this doesn't make any sense, but negative values move the object forward and positive values move the object away. So we're making these values more and more negative, you may have noticed. We started with the camera back at a Y value of 0, the camera front at a Y value of negative 20, the camera ring right there at a Y value of negative 40, and finally this telephoto lens, the outer side of the telephoto lens, at a Y value of negative 250. So each object in turn is coming toward the viewer. All right, now let's grab Tele-In, the Tele-In layer that is. Go ahead and select it and turn on its eyeball. And then go up to the 3D menu, choose Repoussé, and choose Layer Mask. Now this is another object that's got a hole in it. And I want to apply very similar settings to what I applied before. So I've got that preset. I'll go ahead and scroll down the list and I'll click on this little item that I call Tunnel. Well, that gives me a depth value of 0.5. That's actually not what I want exactly. I want 0.2 this time around. It also gives me a height and width value here inside the bevels area of 2. That's exactly what I want. It did not change the type. The type is still set to inactive. So your shape presets do not pay attention to your internal constraints. How frustrating is that? Anyway, I'm going to change that type to hole manually. And now I have exactly the settings I want. So type set to hole, depth set to 0.2, both the bevel values set to 2. Click OK. Haven't rotated the object in 3D space, so don't need to click on the house. So click on the OK button in order to apply that change. All right, and this is going to seem like old home week here. Make sure Tele-In is selected. Shift click on camera to make it selected as well. Go up to the 3D menu, choose Merge 3D Layers. Wait and watch with glee for what in the world Photoshop does with that new object. Oh, there it is. Huge as all get out. Great. Then filter by meshes by clicking the second icon right there. Click on Tele-In. Make sure one of the mesh tools is selected. In my case, it is. And go up to the options bar. Click on the house icon in order to basically position that element inside of the larger telephoto element. All right, now what we want to do is, again, using the 3D widget, we're going to drag on the green arrowhead and we're going to drag to the left to make that guy emerge like so. And the Y value I'm looking for this time is an even negative 300, which will move the lens element out like this. All right, and then finally, I'm going to switch back to my camera rotate tool and I'm going to go up to the options bar and change view back to camera cam, like so. And then hide the 3D panel. And there is my 3D camera so far. A total of 5 3D objects merged into a single 3D scene here inside Photoshop CS5 Extended.